All right, everybody, how are you doing? How are you doing? This is S. Anthony Thomas. This is the S. Anthony Says podcast, episode number 490. And I'm going to call this episode Chronic Pain Friends. Because some pains, they just sneak up on you out of nowhere and they stay around for a while and you almost get used to them and then they go away and then they come back. And some friends are like that. Right? They're a pain in the neck. And just when you're about to get rid of them, just when you're about to throw them out of your life, all the bad traits kind of go away. Hey, man, I got some tickets. You want to come? Hey, I'm throwing a party. Come on. You go, no, you know what? They sucked last week, but they're okay now. And they're good for a while. And then all of a sudden they'll do something annoying again. And you want to get rid of them. It's a cycle. It's like chronic pain. Like at my back is hurting right now. 3 days ago, it didn't hurt, and 3 days from now, it won't hurt. And sometimes the pain in my back arrives out of nowhere, right? Not bad enough when you want to call the doctor, not bad enough when you want to go to the emergency room, but bad enough to remind you of every bump in the street, even though the suspension of your car is pretty good. Every bump in the street. You ever have somebody come to your house like a friend? Maybe they fought with their spouse, right? And you have a good time with them most of the time. Sometimes they're a pain in the butt. But now they're in your house, sleeping on the couch, right? And you know for a fact, no matter how much you like a friend or a relative, unless they're like, like it's your best friend or your super close relative. It's like a relative that, you're a relative. They're not super, super duper close, but close enough where you invite them into your house and you don't mind them being there. But he had a fight with his wife and she threw him out. And it's 1:00 in the morning. You're already annoyed that he couldn't find a way to make it up to his wife and then maybe leave in the morning. No, he had to leave at 1:00 in the morning and you got to get up at 6:00 to go to work. So now you got to go over there because she threw the keys into the backyard and he can't find them. So you got to go get him. Right? And when you get there, you're like, man, just get in the car. But no, he can't just get in the car. He's got to stand on the porch and argue with his wife for another half an hour. And now it's 2:00 in the morning. He gets in the car and he has to tell you all about it for another hour. When you get home, you go to work and you're tired. Why? Is it something that you did? No, it's something that he did. He did. His problem. He messed up, but he's now messing up your world. Okay, it's an acute problem. Everybody has arguments, not a big deal. I'm sure they'll be fine. He picks up the phone to call her. He's on the phone when you come home from work, and all of a sudden he's yelling in the phone, and you can hear her yelling, and you're going, oh, crap, I guess he's not going home today. Now, the thing is, if somebody's in your house that doesn't live there, I'm not talking about when they come in as a guest. I'm talking about when they're there all day long. They're there in the morning. They're there in the afternoon. They're there in the evening. They're there after work. When they're there, they're disrupting the ecosystem of your home, especially if you live by yourself. Right? But it doesn't even matter if you live by yourself. The fact that they're there gets in the way of things. If you got a bunch of kids and uncle whatever is there, normally the kids like them there, but now all of a sudden he's watching a TV program and then the kids have to come and uncle whatever's watching the TV. Then you got to go down. Well, let me see the end of this game. And you're like, well, let them see the end of the game. And now your kids are mad at you, right? Oh. Sometimes a person is in your house and they move things that don't need to be moved. Everybody knows, put the remote control on the coffee table so it doesn't get lost. And this sucker's walking around the house with it in his pocket because he didn't want to lose it. You won't lose it if you put it back on the coffee table, schmuck. But it doesn't matter to him. And then he forgets that it's in his pocket and he runs to the corner store and you can't change the channel. He comes back into the house. Oh, I had the remote control with me. Yeah, it would be no problem if you put it back on the coffee table like everybody who actually lives here knows, sucker. Right? When you go out, when you have a family, or even when you live by yourself, you know how much of a specific product that you use. You know how much of a product that you use. You know how much cornflakes to buy. You know how much milk to buy. You know how much ice cream to buy, right? And as this person stays at your house, as the fight with his wife continues to go on and on and on, all of a sudden this sucker starts to get a little bit too familiar. Ooh, right? He's not in guest mode anymore. He's in resident mode, but he is not, in fact, a resident. Right? There's a certain amount of people in the house. You buy enough sodas so everybody in the house has a certain amount of sodas. But there's not a certain amount of people in the house because this sucker's still there. And all of a sudden, there's a few sodas missing. He didn't even ask. Because had he asked, you could have reluctantly said yes and made the adjustment. But now when your kids go in to get the sodas, those last 3 sodas that should have been for them are not there. Oh no. Right? He decided he wanted a little bit of ice cream. He just took a little bit. What's a little bit to him? Enough for 2 people who should be getting ice cream, who actually live there, are not going to get ice cream because of this sucker. Oh no. It's like chronic pain. Right? Chronic pain in your back, your leg, your arm, your shoulder, wherever you have it. Sometimes it's just a little bit. Sometimes it's a lot. And sometimes it's a little bit of pain that it grows increasingly over a short period of time to the point where your back hurts so bad you got to call into work and tell them you're not coming in. And they're used to what they know. 3 or 4 times a year, your back goes out. They're used to it. They adjust to it. You're such a good worker. They let you get away with it. They're not mad at you, but they know what's coming. Well, what if all of a sudden that chronic pain in your back happened every day and you had to keep calling in? You called in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. All of a sudden it's 2 weeks. They love your work, but you're only valuable to the business, to the office, to the job when you're actually there. And now this chronic pain, which they were able to adjust to, is now starting to affect the bottom line. Back to the person who's in your house that's not a resident. It was a little annoying when he grabbed a couple sodas, when he ate some ice cream, when he walked to the store with the remote control in his pocket. It was annoying, but you can kind of survive with it because the corner store is only 10 minutes away. That's okay, right? These sodas, not really that big of a deal. You just give the kids some juice. Okay, right? But then all of a sudden he decides he's got to take 25-minute showers when there's a whole house full of people that have got to go to work. We're not on leave like this guy. We're not sit around the house like this guy. This guy's on leave or whatever for a couple of months because his job or whatever. And we're sitting there going, and this is not going to be a big deal. If he's at his own house, you can tease him, hey man, at least you get paid to be off for 2 months while your thing sets up. But it's not funny when he's in your house. And you're taking a 25-minute shower and you got to go to work. Your spouse has got to go to work. Your kids have got to go to school. And then all of a sudden he's out of, I'm so sorry. And all of a sudden there's no hot water left. And you got to listen to everybody in the car complain as he sits on the couch watching some stuff, right? The sucker's at your house all day watching stuff on Netflix that nobody in the house watches, right? And you got to explain to your wife, wait a minute, who's been watching this? Because he went in on your Netflix. Now all of a sudden your wife thinks you're some kind of disgusting pig because he's watching crap you wouldn't even think about watching. Oh, every second he's in the house now. It's even worse and even worse. You're now you up there, you call his wife, you go over to his wife's house and you try to explain, he really misses you. Well, if he really misses me, he should stop this particular behavior. And she tells you what he did. And you've known them both long enough to know that they're both basically honest people, but his wife is brutally 100%. You're looking at her face and you know daggone well she's telling the truth. Honest, oh no. And you realize he's a chronic pain in your house, but he's an even bigger chronic pain in his own house. She's just sitting at the coffee table. She says, would you like some coffee? You're like, yeah, sure. She gets you a cup of coffee, and it's not a small cup of coffee. She gets this big giant mug. And normally when you're at somebody's house and they ask you want a cup of coffee, it's a cup. She got a mug. She has cups. There's cups right there that are normal size, but she got you a mug. Why? Because this is going to be a long, 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 long story. And guess what it is? A long, long, long story. She almost has a PowerPoint presentation on how this guy's a huge pain in the buttocks. Does she love him? Yes. Is she going to divorce him? No. She just wants to teach him a lesson about being what he is, which is a pain in the buttocks. She finishes her cup of coffee after complaining. You finish your cup of coffee, listen to her complain. And you said, you know what? She goes, what? I said, you might want to refill these cups because I want to tell you what he did at our house. She goes, oh, and she refills both coffee cups. You season up the coffee. You want it where you want the coffee. Then you go through the litany of ways he's annoying at your house. And now she's starting to feel bad because she knows she's unleashed the chronic pain friend / chronic pain relative to your house. He's really her problem, which is what she says. You know what? He's really my problem. I love him, but he's a pain. You know what? I'm just going to let him come home and I'll deal with him here. Right? So just send him home. And you go, no. I don't want to send him home. It has to come from you. I want you to tell him you want him to come home. Okay, you go home and you all of a sudden you look at your wife, you give her the look and you kind of give her a little small smile. Not that I want to get it on with your smile. You give her that later on, but you give her the he's almost out of here smile. And even the little kids know, right? You know, little kids are real subtle. You look at the kids, you look at him, he's not looking at the time and you make a hand signal to let the kids know he's about to be out of there and they squeal with delight. He turns around to see why they squeal with delight and he goes, hey, that's right, kids. We're definitely going to go for some ice cream. But Dad, you said, they're not smart enough to realize when to shut up, but they know now when you give them, they know that is a way to keep them to shut up. And they're like, oh yeah, ice cream. That's right. And he's going, okay, I'm going to go to the store. So, hey, why don't you call your wife? I drove by. And you try to get him to call his wife, and he's not going to do it. He leaves to go to the store. She calls, and he takes a long time at the store. He comes back with groceries for himself, and you're going, oh, my goodness, this sucker's setting in for the long haul. So you call your wife while he's in the bathroom. You go, listen, just call back in 35 seconds, and I'm going to tell him that you called because I need to get him out of here because he's buying groceries. Oh, my God, if he's buying groceries, he's really in there for the long haul. I know. Brrr, hello. Hey, man, your wife's on the phone. I don't know if I want to talk to her. Get down here and talk to your wife, man. This is enough, man. I think this might be, she might be missing you and you might, well, yeah, I want to see you. Okay. And he comes downstairs, right? And then he walks into the kitchen and closes the little door and you can hear them. He tries to be Captain Tough Guy. Yeah, well, I think, and you can hear her voice on the other end. You can't hear what she's saying, but you can tell she's giving him the old, you better calm your punk behind down and get back to this house and do what you're supposed to do. And all of a sudden, Captain Tough Guy goes from, we were sorry, my fault. And everybody, your spouse and the kids are standing there listening at the door. Luckily, there's a rug on the floor so he couldn't hear the floor creak when you're standing there with your ear to the door. You can't hear what she's saying, but you can hear the tone. You can hear what he's saying, and you know he's about to go home. And he starts to walk towards the door, and y'all all run and scramble away. And you're looking like you're doing something. Hey, well, you know what? I'm going to go home now, right? And you're almost about to go, yeah! But you catch yourself because you don't want to make him feel bad, right? Okay. Oh, okay. Well, it was nice having you around, man. And he goes, yeah, man, maybe we'll get together this weekend. And in the back of your mind, you're going, I don't want to see you till at least, let's see, what year is this? 2024. I don't want to see you to 2026. And I'll have to think about that, but you don't say it. You go, well, I'll let you know, buddy, because I think we have some stuff to do. And your wife's like, yeah, we definitely have some stuff to do. And the kids are like, yeah, it's stuff. Yeah. And you all very, very quickly help him pack his crap up, right? And you walk him to the door and you get in the car, you're driving him back to the house. And she's waiting outside. He walks up to the house, hugs his wife, and you peel off like you're running from an earthquake. Like I said, chronic pain kind of sneaks up on you. And when it's there, it kind of ruins everything. It makes you feel bad. It takes away your ability to do certain things. Like when your back hurts, like right now, I need to do a little gardening, a little yard work, but I can't do it right now because my back hurting a little bit, right? But when I know when the back pain goes away in a day or two, all of a sudden I'm back to being me and I could do the stuff I normally would do, right? It's just an amazing thing. But I was wondering though, what would happen if you were petty enough to go over to that person's house? You almost want to fake a fight with your wife, right? High five your kids. Dad, are you going to do that fake fight and then go over there and ruin his life like he ruined ours? That's right, kids. Okay, honey, I'm going to call him up. I need you to... Now listen, kids, your mama's going to say some curse words to make it look real, okay? We normally don't curses, but she's going to have to say some curse words to make the fight sound real, okay? Okay. And you do the fight and you do the curse words. And I say, well, you might as well stay at my house. I was at your house. Then you go over to his house, right? And you're all passive aggressive. You're sitting there going, what kind of crap can I do to ruin his life? And you feel bad about the wife. You're going, in fact, you call her up and say, look, I'm going to do a fake fight. Okay. I'm going to do some stuff to be obnoxious to him, but I need to find out what stuff I could do to make his life a living hell that won't affect you at all. And you get together on a plan. Yeah, that's right. And she says, well, this wouldn't bother me, but would drive him crazy. Okay, we write that down, and you write down about 10 things that'll drive him crazy, but won't bother her at all. And you methodically, after you quote, move in for a while with them, you methodically work his way down the list. You can see him getting frustrated. He doesn't even realize this is, like James Brown said, the big payback, revenge. Yeah. He doesn't even realize it, right? In fact, his wife is trying not to laugh because she knows what you're doing to his punk ass. She knows what's going down. You're only on number 4 and he's frustrated. You're on number 5, 6, and 7 and he's visibly upset. 8 and 9, and then you hold off on 10. You're going to save number 10 till when you're just about to leave. You're only going to do this for a couple days because it's not worth it to be in there for weeks like he was. No, right, you get to number 10 and you dig in on number 10. That number 10 thing that drives him nuts, you dig in on it, you double down on it, you triple down on it, you octa down on it, you infinite down on it, on its punk ass. Yeah, that's right. He doesn't realize you're giving him the revenge action. He doesn't know. But in the back of his mind, he's going, oh my goodness, how did I stay at that guy's house so long? Even if I have another fight with my wife, I'm never going back over to that guy's house. Now, I mean, if I go back over to that guy's house and I have to deal with this, it'll end the friendship. It'll end the relationship, even with relatives. It'll make me get mad. I don't want to be that mad at him. Oh, he's leaving? Okay. And he's glad to see you go. Yeah. But unfortunately, you're not petty enough to do that. You're not petty enough to do that. But a guy can dream, can he? And that's my question to you. Do you have chronic pain? You have a bad back, a bad shoulder, bad ankle, bad knee, something that just kind of sneaks up on you and it gets progressively worse over the course of a few days and then gets a little bit better, then you're back to normal by the end of the week? Or do you have chronic pain relatives or chronic pain friends that kind of come into your life a little bit and they become a bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger pain in the butt for a period of time, and then very methodically and slowly they stop being a pain in the butt, and then you go, okay, they're not that bad, but you know they're going to come popping back up and be a pain in the buttocks again? Those are both rhetorical questions, especially if you're after a certain age. If you're young, you probably don't have the chronic pain. But you will. Trust me, right? But I'm sure you got those chronic pain friends. I'm sure you got those chronic pain relatives that were pains in the buttocks, metaphorically speaking, right? Well, there's nobody that has a life that doesn't have those things. So for the most part, all you got to really do is just know that they're going to end and put up with that crap. It'll all be okay. Oh, one more thing. My back. Ow. Folks, this has been episode number 490 of the S. Anthony Says podcast. Thank you very much for coming back. I'll see you again next week. Do me a favor, my friends, if you love this podcast, and you do, realize that I also have a second podcast called the S. Anthony Thomas Show, which is storytelling as well, but I also mix in interviews with, comedians, actors, writers, and stuff like that. So I have some of those over there. Go check that out. And on Spotify, I have a list called S. Anthony With, which has all the interviews in one list. So if you just want to listen to the interviews, you can do that as well. Rate and review this podcast 5 stars, please. Check me out on social media. I'm everywhere. TikTok, YouTube, everywhere. Facebook, Instagram. I'm everywhere, baby. Just Google my name, S. Anthony Thomas, and all my crap will pop up. Much love to you all, my friends, and I will see you again next week. You dig? See you.